from your business, you moved on and you've started a foundation called the Sant Ishwar Foundation and Ghar, which is an orphanage for girls. So, what was the seed? What was the thought process to begin this new journey?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Nothing. So, many people ask that question to me, that who motivated you, who inspired you, what is it that made you suddenly change tack from one end to the other?
Hmm.
I said, nothing.
Hmm.
I said, I always say that nature molds each one of us differently.
Hmm.
And that is the way I'm molded.
Hmm.
I mean, I was 16 and a half years old when I stepped into the National Defense Academy. And I don't know why.
Hmm.
No clue. Right? I used to say that time only, यार एक दिन मैं अनाथ आश्रम start करने वाला हूँ. Neither anybody inspired me, neither anybody motivated me, neither anybody told me, neither any incident took place in my life that propelled me to take that particular direction. Nothing.
Hmm.
How it happened, why I started speaking about it, even I don't know.
Hmm.
So I think some of us are just made that way,
Right.
and that's the way it happened. And ultimately, the floriculture unit was going well, so I had settled well,
Hmm.
and the time had come for this.
Hmm.
And that is the time. The thought never went away. There is you're growing in your career, your family, your attention gets diverted to your career, your family, but that thought of starting an orphanage never went away.
Hmm.
And ultimately, when even the entrepreneurship was going fine, and it was time for me to again take tack to the final
Hmm.
target which I had, or the final vision which I had, uh, there was hesitation, because I said, paisa kahan se aayega? It's a huge responsibility.
Hmm.
And age was not on my side. I mean, I was not that young. There was resistance in my house, undoubtedly, because everybody thought it was a crazy idea, and it was too old, and it would involve a lot of investment.
Hmm.
But there was a lot of conflict in my mind, and for about 3-4 months, my mind was saying, it's crazy, just forget it, you can't do it. But my heart just kept on saying, this is what you're meant to do.
Hmm.
So one day it's like that golf ball falling into the hole, it just fell. And I said, buddy, come what may, paisa ho ya nahi ho, age ho ya nahi ho, karna hai to karna hai.
Hmm.
And failure is not an option.
Hmm.
That was very clear. And I still remember the day I took that decision, because there was a lot of tussle in my mind, ghar mein bhi jara, conflict tha. And but the day it fell into place, ki karna hai,
Hmm.
two things instantly came to my mind. First was sustainability.
Okay.
How do we create a system that it is sustainable, right? And obviously, along with sustainability is the accountability. It should be creating systems that will ensure that even after I'm not there, it runs as well, or if not better,
Hmm.
right? And no one should be able to distort it or take advantage. And what was the original intent should not get diluted under any circumstances.
Hmm.
And the second was succession.
Hmm.
That what after me, because ultimately it's finding the right person who has that same dedication, the same passion, the same commitment, to carry forward the banner of Ghar.
Hmm.
So the other two things, I think the first part of it, sustainability, we have come a long way, though we started off with nothing. And succession is that is the reason why for succession, made it a trust.
Okay.
Right? And instead of just me and my family members, I made it a trust where we could induct anybody from the public.
Hmm.
A proper registered trust, so that when we find the right person who is able to take on that mantle, he or she should be able to shoulder and carry forward Ghar with that same dedication, compassion, and integrity as what we have been doing.
Sir, I think you are also a trustee at Ghar, so
Yeah.
you
So
have also seen the work very closely,
yeah,
and
amazing
are
work he's
yeah,
doing, and we'll give a little
give
bit of hand
yes,
whatever we can, but majority he's the
yeah,
one who absolutely
Hmm.
there's, I mean, you see now in
yes,
his drive, his
Hmm.
passion, his
Hmm.
absolute single-minded way of doing work, and it's, I mean, I'm sure he'll tell us
A little more. Yeah, we
amazing
go.
stuff about the girls that
Hmm.
are there.
Hmm.
So I think that's
Hmm.
we can. In the last, it's been 3.5 years now, almost
Hmm.
maybe 4 years. What, I'm sure the girls have surprised you in many ways.
Hmm.
Anything you'd like to talk about that?
I've always told you that institutions like Ghar is a very unique institution.
Hmm.
They are born out of beliefs.
Hmm.
This is not some big industrialist who's created a foundation and created an orphanage and is running it. No. This is an ordinary middle class person who's put everything at stake, to create an institution because of his strong beliefs. And I'm a person who's got very strong beliefs on equality and justice.
Okay.
I always say it. And I always look at humans from the eyes of nature that created us as equals. चाहे कोई बड़े इंडस्ट्रियलिस्ट करोड़पति का बेटा हो या हमारे बच्चे हो या फुटपाथ का बच्चा हो, कोई फर्क नहीं है. There is no difference. The difference is only about opportunities. And institutions like Ghar are created out of strong beliefs with also an intention that your beliefs should be ultimately reinforced. So when we have children who come from the lowest strata of society, many of the small kids we have are actually footpath children.
Yeah.
Studying in army public schools and the good schools, they're getting the best. When these girls in turn one day become successful, realize their potential, become army officers, doctors, engineers, and the like, based on their potential, they are only going to reinforce our beliefs.
Yes.
That nature creates all of us as equals. The only thing that differentiates the haves and the have-nots is opportunities. I always say कि हम अपने बच्चों को विदेश में भेज सकते हैं पढ़ाई के लिए क्योंकि वी कैन अफोर्ड इट. हो सकता है आपके घर में जो मेड सर्वेंट काम करती है उसके बच्चे आपके बच्चे से भी ज्यादा लायक हैं. But can she think of sending them abroad for studies? She can't.
No.
When you go home, the children that you see on the street begging, believe me, there would be plenty amongst them whose IQ is more than all of us.
True.
But because they are born in that mold, in all probability, they will remain in that mold throughout their lives.
Yes.
And we have children like this who are from that background, who are brilliant. And had they not been with us, they would have probably just been stray at the street corners.
Right.
For the rest of their lives. Yeah. So we're all equal. And that is what really drives you. You know, that the biggest, I should say, satisfaction I get in this entire thing is the relations with the children. I always knew that I would be very close to the girls because I have never differentiated between a poor person's child and a rich person's child. I look at them with the same eyes, the same intent, the same, compassion or whatever it is. But even I had not anticipated that, the closeness, the bonding, which I knew would be there with these kids, would ultimately, grow into a relationship purely between that of a father and children. And that's what ultimately happened. So, I look at these girls in exactly the same way as I look as my own daughter. The same love, the same feelings, that same yearning, to make them climb the tallest mountains. I would say probably even more because, our children get all these things by default. Whereas you have children that come to us who are far, far, right the bottom of the pyramid that come to us, and it's what our children get by default, they don't.
No.
So there's a larger purpose, there's a larger drive that keeps you going of, making these girls realize their potential and reach the top of the mountain.
Yes.
And that is the beauty of Ghar. It's not just about looking after these kids and providing them shelter and clothing and nutrition and koi sarkari school mein education ke liye bhej diya. It's ultimately about each of these girls realizing she's loved, she's secure, she has a home.
Yes.
And she gets the motivation, the encouragement, the love, the care for her to realize her dreams. Because as I told Girish also once earlier, that my dream was that I want these children to dream. And when they dream, we provide them all the resources, the facilities, the encouragement, the motivation, the love, the care for them to realize their dreams.
Right,
Yes.
to
And when
achieve.
they realize their dreams, we realize our dream.
Correct.
So that is what Ghar is about. Ghar is not just about looking after children. Ghar is ultimately a pure family. Ghar is about equality. Ghar is about giving wings to making these girls' dreams firstly and then giving them wings
Right.
for them to realize their dreams. And they will, I have no doubts in my mind.